Okay, so if we need to write the equation in point-slope form between these 2 points, basically you just need any one of these points and then you need the slope between the two. Okay, so we're gonna call the slope m, and that's the change in y. So you're gonna take the two y values and subtract them, divided by the change in the x value. So you're gonna subtract those. So I always label them x1, y1, x2, y2, just to help me keep track. Okay, up to you if you want to or not. And then basically you're gonna plug those values into your little formula here that you've created. So I'm gonna plug y2 here and y1 here. So y2 is -3, minus, that minus stays there, the y1, which is 4, and then x2, which is 1, minus x1, which is -1. Now we're going to talk about that minus and negative here in a second. So I'm going to go straight across the top, so -3 minus 4. So if I'm at -3, I'm going to go to the left 4, which is going to give me -7 for my top value. And then my denominator is really x minus -1. So that minus and negative does opposite of what you think. It actually turns to a plus. So 1 plus 1, which is 2. Okay, so our slope is done. Okay, it's -7/2. That is our slope. The equation in point slope form, you have y minus y1 equals m, which is, remember what we found for our slope, times x minus x sub 1, okay? So you're just gonna take these values that we had defined up here earlier. Let me make that look more like a comma. Okay, you're gonna take these x and y values that you defined and you're gonna plug them in here. You're gonna plug your m in for m. So y1, remember, was 4. So I'm gonna have y minus 4. This y is gonna stay. We want that variable in our equation. Equals m, which remember is our slope, we found here, -7/2. Just gonna plug that in. Our x is actually gonna stay the same. We want that variable x. This x1, x sub 1 is what's gonna change. Remember, we defined that back up here, which is -1. So the minus stays -1. Now we are gonna simplify this because mathematicians like things simplified. They don't like this minus the negative here. So it's y minus 4 equals -7/2, our slope, times x plus 1. Okay, and that's your equation in point slope form. Okay, this is the kind of formula you use for point slope, and that's what I got as my final answer. Now I see you also have to do a graph. So you have two options when you're given 2 points. Okay, you can literally plot each of those points on the graph and connect them using a straight line. You can also plot just one of those points and then count out your slope. Either one is fine. So if I start at -1, 4, here's my little graph here. So -1 on my x-axis is over to the left 1, and then I'm gonna count up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, you're counting like you would count on a board game, so don't count the space where you start. Okay. My slope is -7/2. So that means from here I'm gonna count down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and to the right 2. 1, 2. Which is actually my other coordinate point, which was 1, -3. And then you're gonna connect those with a straight line, which is gonna be tough for me to do with one hand here. You can see my line isn't exactly perfect, but I think you get the idea. You wanna make sure that anytime you have a negative slope, which we do here, one of our values was negative, okay, that your line is going down as you read from left to right, okay? So I hope that is helpful.